Damian Priest furiously reveals how his feud with Aleister Black started backstage on SmackDown. SmackDown opens in a way no one expects. No pyro, no music, just darkness. The camera slowly fades in to reveal Damian Priest standing alone in the ring, leather jacket on, arms resting on the top rope, head lowered. The crowd buzzes with confusion. Priest doesn't move, he doesn't look up, he just breathes. Then he lifts his head. And his eyes are burning. He asks for a microphone, and when he speaks, his voice is calm, but tight, like it's being held together by pure rage. He says he's tired of pretending. Tired of smiling for cameras. Tired of letting people rewrite history. The crowd leans in. Priest says everyone wants to know why things got personal with Aleister Black. Why every look, every strike, every encounter feels different. Why it feels darker. Why it feels dangerous. Priest says the truth didn't start in the ring. It started backstage, weeks ago, before anyone saw it coming. The camera cuts to a flashback graphic. SmackDown. Earlier that night, Damian Priest is shown backstage, taping his wrists, focused, locked in. He's preparing for a match. No distractions, no talking, just work. Then the hallway lights flicker. Subtle, easy to miss. Priest looks up. Aleister Black is standing at the end of the corridor. Not moving, not speaking, just watching. Priest says he ignored it at first. Everyone knows Aleister Black likes to play mind games. Silence, shadows, creeping into people's heads. Priest says he wasn't in the mood. He finishes taping his wrist, stands up, and walks past Black without saying a word. That's when Black speaks. One sentence. Quiet, sharp. He says Priest is wearing borrowed darkness. The crowd reacts. Priest stops walking. He turns slowly. He says he asks Black what that's supposed to mean. Black steps closer. Still calm. Still emotionless. He says Priest talks about walking the line between light and dark, but he's never truly crossed it. Black says Priest chooses darkness when it's convenient. Then steps back into the light when it benefits him. Priest says that comment hit harder than any punch. Because it wasn't trash talk. It was accusation. Priest tells the crowd that he's fought his whole life to escape the idea that he didn't belong anywhere. Too intense. Too aggressive. Too dangerous. Always told to tone it down. And here comes Aleister Black, standing there like a judge, telling him he's not real enough. Priest says he stepped forward and told Black to mind his own business. That's when Black smiled. Not a grin, a knowing smile. Black says truth always feels like disrespect when you're not ready to hear it. The tension backstage is unbearable. Officials are watching. Security is watching. No one steps in. Priest says Black leaned in and whispered something that changed everything. He said, "You don't know who you are yet." Priest says something snapped. Not explosively. Quietly. Dangerously. He shoved Black. Hard. Black didn't fall. Didn't flinch. He just straightened up and said, "Good. There you are." The flashback ends. Back in the ring, Priest's hands are shaking as he grips the microphone. He says that moment followed him. Every match. Every win. Every loss. Because Aleister Black wasn't trying to fight him. He was trying to expose him. Priest says weeks later, he found Black again backstage, sitting alone, legs crossed, eyes closed, like he was meditating. Priest says he confronted him. He demanded answers. Black opened his eyes and said he was waiting. He said Priest was circling something inevitable. And inevitability scares people. Priest says he told Black he doesn't scare him. Black replied that fear isn't what stops men. Identity is. The crowd is silent. Priest says that's when he realized Black wasn't after a match. He was after control. Control over who Priest believed himself to be. Priest says he walked away that night. But Aleister Black followed. Not physically, mentally. And that's when things started going wrong. Matches started falling apart. Distractions. Missed moments. Priest says he caught himself second-guessing strikes. Hesitating. Thinking. That never used to happen. He says Aleister Black got inside his head without laying a finger on him. And then came the night everything exploded. SmackDown. Main event. Priest is in a match, dominating. Crowd is behind him. Then the lights go out. For half a second, when they come back on, Aleister Black is sitting cross-legged on the stage. Not interfering, just watching. Priest says he felt rage flood his body. He lost focus. And that's all it took. He lost the match. The crowd groans as Priest clenches his jaw. He says after that match, he didn't wait. He stormed backstage. He found Aleister Black standing in the shadows again. Priest shoved him against the wall. Officials rushed in. Priest says he screamed at Black, demanding he stay out of his business. Black's response, "I never touched you." Priest pauses. He lets that sink in. He says that's when he realized Aleister Black wasn't trying to beat him. He was trying to make him beat himself. Priest looks into the camera and says that's unforgivable. The crowd erupts. Priest says he didn't start this feud with fists. It started with words, with doubt, with someone trying to tell him who he really is. Priest says he's done listening, done questioning, done holding back. He takes off his jacket and drops it to the mat. He says Aleister Black wanted the real him. Then he's about to get it. The lights suddenly dim. The crowd gasps. Aleister Black's music hits, and the camera cuts to the stage. Aleister Black slowly rises from a kneeling position, eyes locked on Priest, calm as ever. Priest doesn't back up. He doesn't blink. SmackDown fades to black. When SmackDown returns, Aleister Black is already in the ring. Sitting, waiting. Damian Priest stands across from him, pacing like a caged animal. Black picks up a microphone but doesn't speak immediately. He lets the silence work. Then he says Priest is angry because he recognizes the truth. Black says darkness isn't something you wear. It's something you accept. Priest snaps. He tells Black to stop pretending he's some kind of prophet. He says Black hides behind silence because he's afraid to fight straight. Black stands. Slowly. He says he fights differently. He says Priest sees violence as release. Black sees it as revelation. The crowd reacts loudly. Priest says enough talking. He challenges Black to a match. But Black shakes his head. He says not yet. He says Priest isn't ready. That makes Priest furious. Priest says Black doesn't get to decide when he's ready. Black responds calmly. He says he already has. He says this feud began the moment Priest shoved him backstage. The moment Priest chose aggression over understanding. Black says this feud ends when Priest finally stops lying to himself. Priest lunges. Officials rush the ring, separating them as fists fly. The crowd is electric. Priest breaks free and delivers a massive right hand. Black falls back but rolls to his feet, smiling. Security floods the ring. Black is escorted out, never taking his eyes off Priest. Priest screams that he's not running from who he is. He says he's embracing it. The next week on SmackDown, a match is announced. Damian Priest vs. Aleister Black. No disqualifications. No countouts. No escape. Backstage footage shows Priest preparing in silence. Black is shown elsewhere, kneeling, focused. The bell rings. The match is brutal. Strikes echo. Neither man backs down. Every hit feels personal. Priest fights with fury. Black fights with precision. They punish each other. Near the end, Priest hesitates. Just for a second, Black capitalizes. Black mass. Priest barely kicks out. The crowd explodes. Priest rises, screaming. He tells Black he knows exactly who he is. He eats another strike and responds with a devastating lariat. Both men are down. They rise together. They trade blows. No defense. Just violence. Priest finally lands a massive finisher. He pins Black. 1, 2, 3. The bell rings. Priest wins. But he doesn't celebrate. He stands over Black, breathing hard. Black slowly sits up. He looks at Priest. And nods. That nod says everything. Priest leaves the ring, not smiling. Not celebrating. But lighter. Like something has been settled. Backstage later, Priest speaks one final time. He says the feud didn't start with hatred. It started with someone forcing him to confront himself. He says he doesn't thank Aleister Black. But he understands him, and that understanding makes him dangerous. SmackDown ends with Damian Priest walking into the darkness backstage. Not running from it, owning it.